This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cockerel. You can text the show, and we'd love it if you did, on 81215. You can follow the show on Twitter if you're into the social media, at Frank on the radio, or you can email the show via the Absolute Radio website if you're calling from work. Welcome.
Morning.
Morning,
we saw each other very recently, didn't we?
We did. We had a sort of a works outing last night.
Works night out.
Not only were we would go out, but we had we had a producer from our past days. He was there as well.
He came along.
So there was Charlie.
I think it sounded like a Christmas carol.
It was. It was like a Christmas do, I thought.
Yeah.
We were all like that. And we were all excited to see each other, but nobody was more excited than you to meet Moriarty.
Man.
Okay. When Moriarty walked in, Frank... We should explain, this is the actor Andrew Scott, who plays Moriarty.
Yeah, if Moriarty had walked in, I would have been terrified. It's the real one.
Rightly so.
I would knew there was something afoot.
He's quite the baddie.
And Al was also in Spectre, I think.
I think he might.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
He was the duplicitous
Spoiler alert.
spy person.
Not in real life. Au contraire, what a charming man. But he walked in, and we alerted Frank, didn't we, that he was there. Paul from Absolute said that, Moriarty's here, he broke the news. I thought Frank was I thought you were he need to go to the bathroom, put it that way.
I love a bit of Sherlock, but he in particular in Sherlock is, and there's no shortage of fine performances, but he's fantastic. And I told him, first thing I thought, get it out of the way.
Well, Catherine was so embarrassed, she said to him, she apologised to him, she said, I'm so embarrassed at Frank. Because Frank said, I'm buzzing. I'm so excited to meet you. And Catherine, I can't believe Frank said I'm buzzing. I'm so sorry.
It's very good. It's good to have someone apologising on your behalf.
He was very happy, though.
Yeah.
Good. So that was... But what happened is we went to see Coldplay, is what happened.
That's right.
At the London Palladium. How marvellous to be at the London Palladium again.
They were live at the Palladium, weren't they?
Oh, I mean, I bet... Do you think I was the only person in there looking around and thinking, this is where they did This Is My Life?
This is my life. They did your life.
They did. They
did Frank's life.
I did a gig there, and there was a big cheer, and I turned around, and there was Michael Aspel with the big red book.
Wow.
Yeah.
In that very room. And do you know... Basil Brush was in the Royal Box. He actually was.
Was he?
Yeah, and Ivan, who operated him, had a couple of drinks, and I think he'd had a stroke recently, and they told him not to drink.
Yeah.
Huh.
And so he ended up with a sort of terrible stroke shandy, which made him a bit slurry. I mean, we kept him... The show didn't start till 1:30 in the morning, the record. And so Basil appeared and said, "Oh, Mr. Frank, Mr. Frank, do you remember when?" And it sounded like Basil Brush was drowning.
Oh dear.
No.
I have never laughed as much on camera. Honestly, on camera you see people laugh. You never see people have those laughs when you're when I have those big laughs. Those big laughs that you have, which tend not to ever be at comedy. They tend to be things in your life.
Yes.
When I get those big laughs, and I probably had single figures in my whole life. Those real, when you start to think, am I going to die laughing? And I make this noise, like that. And it's like an alarm saying, this man needs a medic. And I actually did that on camera. I was laughing so much at the drowning Basil Brush. Oh, I haven't had one of those big laughs for a long time.
Oh, well.
Oh, thanks very much.
Well, you know what I mean. One of
Throw
those...
the gauntlet down. 3 hours to go.
Yeah.
One of those I can't control. Yeah, we'll
My
see.
money's on you, Al.
We'll see if we can, if not one together for you guys.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Now, Chris Martin was something of a revelation.
Chris Martin?
My goodness.
Well, let's put it this way. The yoga's paid off. I mean, the man looks phenomenal.
Yeah, he was in good shape. He's a very energetic performer, I think it's fair to say.
The agility of the man.
I mean, I consider myself to be a reasonably fit person.
Do you?
We know
But if
that.
I had done as much... No, but it's progress, because I had a back problem, didn't I? Now I'm fitter.
Oh, God, keep it light.
Progress.
Don't go on about your back.
But here's the
problem.
thing, if I had done as much running and jumping and climbing back up and stuff like that as he did yesterday, today I'd be getting a sports massage, and he looks as if he'd
I
be able
think
to
he
do
will
that.
be too.
Do you think so?
But what I would say is he's got that he knows it, because
Yeah, he knows it.
was showing that midriff off. That little top was riding up all night.
Yes.
And
But as I've always said, there was a 6-month period when I had a flat stomach, and every picture of me in the street, in the winter, whatever, I lift my top up and show my stomach. If you've got it like that, you can't keep it away.
yeah.
So that's fair enough. I'll tell you what, I was a bit worried.
She's got cramp.
Alan just
You got
got
cramp.
cramp.
See, that'll say talking about
Even
your...
talking about Chris
Boasting
Martin
about
has
your
given me
working
cramp.
out.
It was the talking that worried me. Because I've heard some accents in my time, but I'd describe his current accent as automatic answering machine.
Could you try and... I can't even do an approximation of it. It's
I know it's been a strange week this week, but we will find that, and for general inquiries, press 1. It's that sort of...
It's slightly Scottish, slightly American.
No, but it did sound automated, I think. And I think that's because he's probably never settles anywhere anymore, and his accent's been
He's got a nice
destroyed. I think he's got a nice voice.
I think he's got a nice
He's got a nice singing voice.
Yeah.
But he sounds like Anna Nova when he's talking.
What about our Xylo bands?
Xylo band.
We were wearing them on our wrists. We got Xylo bands, yeah.
I didn't get one of those.
Didn't you?
No, I was never given one. These are the things that light up when you... Just you have to raise your hands in the air.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's how Nazi Germany started.
It is, yeah.
Frank.
With Xylo bands.
We got a complaint. Someone was sitting behind us and tweeted me to say that we weren't raising our hands in the air.
I didn't have a Xylo band, that's why.
Calm down.
And I would like to say to that person who's unnecessarily attacking us on our night out, I would like to say to them that the people in front of me had stepped forward, and so I was drumming the seat in front. I never felt like putting my hands in there because I got to,
I noticed Frank did something at the gig which I rather liked.
Well, let's hear it.
There was a lot of putting the hands on the seat in front in a slightly statesmanlike. It was a bit presidential.
Yes.
You were leaning forward, using it for purchase.
Well, because everyone stood up when they came on, I thought, oh, here we go, hour and a half upright. So
I boogied.
So I eased off a bit by supporting myself on the chair in front. I played a bit of air piano as well.
Did you?
Air piano is the gap between air piano and Tommy Cooper impression is almost imperceptible.
Did not spot you do
Frank,
that.
did you have an incident with a woman?
I did, yeah.
Okay, would you rather not discuss it on air?
Well,
You don't have
a
to.
woman did that thing that they weren't letting people stand in the aisle, so she basically came and stood right in front of, well, Kath initially, and then I moved Kath so that Kath could see. So I was standing and she was standing in front of me in the same gap.
She was sort of in your seat, really.
Yeah, but, I like to be liberal about it.
Footwell. She was in your footwell, really.
She asked me if I minded.
And what did you say?
Well, I can't repeat what I said. She left. I wasn't abusive. I was just candid. Oh, that was enough.
Oh, no.
But can I say the moment for me? Well, there was two very emotional moments for me, and one was when they played Muhammad Ali.
Yes.
They sampled
Some
Muhammad
one of the
Ali.
tracks, yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
God don't care if I beat Joe Frazier. Oh, I love that. And he said some other stuff about peace and love, obviously. But that's the bit that stuck with me. And he
That's
also
more Ringo's area,
brilliantly
Peace and Love.
he did.
Suzanne.
He came on his own with guitar, Chris Martin, and did Suzanne, by Leonard Cohen. Which was, and I was so glad he didn't do Hallelujah. He went for Suzanne, which is slightly sort of the second choice, if you know what I mean.
Oh, you don't want to do Hallelujah.
And I was talking to Adam, who works here, and he said I think about 15 people recognised that song and knew it was a Leonard Cohen song in the whole place.
Really?
So that's
Well,
I don't know how he worked that
I'm
out.
in the 15.
Me too.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
well, everyone
Hang
on
on.
this show.
And I said if
There might have been
he'd
more.
done Hallelujah, the crowd would have probably thought Alexandra Burke had died. Been horror all around.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Surely not. There must be some mistake.
Coldplay.
Yes.
Yeah.
He even did a squat down, like heels,
You're
bottom
obsessed
to
with-
heels.
Obsessed with his physical fitness.
And then he jumped out of that squat.
know.
I mean, that is impressive.
Ow.
And he lay on the floor and got up with his hands both on the microphone.
Well, that's all very well. What
Which is
about
good.
when he made us all squat down?
Oh,
So there was
that
one
bit I
point,
found
he
difficult.
grabbed the microphone and he went, go low, go low. Something of a rapper's
Yeah.
thing, that. He said, go low, go low. So,
Sure he didn't say YOLO.
no, you did look a bit confused, Frank.
I did.
And I liked you held out. You were like, I'm not going low.
Well, I sat down, that's what I did. I thought that's low
I did
enough.
that. Wasn't
You're
low
used to it in the church. You're all right if there's a little cushion there.
I don't think you wanted us to kneel, did you?
enough. Genuflect.
Yeah.
Well, I found it very difficult, and there was a lot of cracking of limbs in
I
our
don't
row.
think he realised that we were in a seated auditorium at that point, and then when
Yeah.
people went low, he thought, "Oh, it's seating." Like I couldn't physically get in between the seats low enough.
Well, it was a ridiculous idea to start with.
Might be used to a different set of scenarios. I mean, they're arenas usually, aren't they? So people have probably got tons of room when he says to them, "Go low." Normally,
Yes.
Can I just say I loved it?
yeah, me too.
I danced my little socks off.
It's a
Me
lot
too.
of confetti.
A lot of confetti.
Oh, it's like being Elizabeth Taylor.
Well, Frank, I
in some
noticed,
regards,
put some in
yeah.
his pocket for Buzz.
I did.
Did you?
And there was
That's
some
nice.
star-shaped confetti
Yeah.
That is
that
nice.
that came down after the song Star Thingy. What is it?
Sky full of stars.
Sky Full of Stars, obviously. And so I thought Buzz will love that. So what I did when I got in, I left it out on the floor as if stars had fallen from the sky during the night.
That's nice.
I'll say, Dad, what are all these post-it notes?
Yeah.
'Cause they did look like
probably.
coloured post-it
I
notes.
think something I did was a bit pathetic. That Christian O'Connell came on at the beginning to introduce it and said, "And you're on national live on national radio. Give a cheer if you love being live on national radio." And I went, "Wee!" And I thought, I never do that when I'm live on a Saturday.
I was excited to be
Yay.
live.
Shall we do a cheer?
Yeah.
Yay!
Come on, cheer if you're on live on national radio. Yay! You see? I actually said yay, which is one of my pet hates.
Is it?
Oh, dear.
What's so wrong with you?
Oh, I find yay. Say hooray. Don't say
Hooray.
yay.
Hooray!
Yes.
Well, I don't mind yay and I don't mind hooray. What I don't like is somewhere in between, which is normally the sort of Frankie Legend types who go, way. It's a way I don't like.
Well, it's yay for me.
Okay.
I'll tell you something else I didn't expect as well. He smashed a guitar.
Well, I turned round to you and I said, it's all gone a bit Marquis Smith.
Yeah, but
Did
he
he smash
he
it?
doesn't. Well, he threw it high into the air and let it land.
Yeah,
Expensive, those.
I thought there might be like a little landing bit. I thought they might have a little sponge bit in the orchestra
Like a
pit,
mattress.
especially. Yeah,
It'd be
yeah.
quite a shot.
It would be great if it had bounced back up and everybody, like,
He
could
did
have thought
some
of that.
crowd surfing. I hoped
That
he'd
was
come
good.
round our way, didn't they?
Me too. I wanted him to come round our way, mainly because his clothes look so soft that I wanted to just, I wanted to give them a little touch.
I thought he might smell of patchouli essence.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Do
Yeah.
you remember her, Downtown? One of my favourites.
Frank Skinner on the radio.
We've had some news in from the outside world. 6:03. Hi, Vince Cable has written a romantic novel. As Frank would say, how marvellous. Will you be reading it? That's Ian in Leamington Spa.
Vince Cable has written a romantic.
Well,
That
of course
sounds
I'll be
good.
reading it. I mean,
That
that's
does
my
sound
absolute
good.
dream.
I like the sound of that.
What about the audio
I want to know
book?
what it's called. What's the title?
I tell you what, the audiobook, me tucked up in bed with that audiobook, hello.
Hey, I spotted an autobiography title that I think you guys might like.
Go on.
Recently. Johann Cruyff has written his autobiography.
Yeah.
Guess what it's called?
Oh, come on, wait, let's work something out, Frank. It's got to be on the Cruyff.
On the... Oh...
Can you give us a link to think about
Yo.
something?
What's he known for?
He's
Football.
known for his turn.
There you go.
Turn for the better.
Nearly.
A good turn.
My turn.
Oh,
It's nice,
my
isn't it? Like
turn.
it's his turn to speak, but also it could mean my turn.
What
like
about
the
if,
famous?
if Vince Cable had a relationship with Ainsley Harriott?
Oh, thanks a lot.
Then it could
Thanks
be-
for ruining my whole day.
Then their autobiography could be called Ain and Cable.
I don't
That was
like
the cleanest version I could think of for that.
It was going somewhere very not great. What about no one thanked the police last night?
Nobody thanked the police.
Oh.
That's terrible.
In a way, it's
Chris
in a way, it's a mark of how good a gig was if somebody doesn't panic and go around and applause the police.
Can you imagine if Chris Martin had ended the gig by saying, and thank you to the police?
We should say for new readers that I was in a play in the West End, and my dresser told me that he'd seen someone in a show that was so bad, they were so desperate for a crowd response, that one of the actors turned to the audience and said, why don't we have a big round of applause for the police? They do a great job. And
they
literally out of the blue.
They often do it at the end of a sort of local election as well.
Do they? Oh, bless them.
Oh, the police were always thanked.
I tell you what surprised me more than anything else is the amount of singing the crowd. There was a vast amount of love in the room, and the crowd sung probably 40% of the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And well.
Well, thank you. I sung a lot of it.
Some good crowd singing. Often
There was.
It's patchy, isn't it?
No, it was good. Chris Martin, he's the new Max Bygraves.
You think so?
I know everyone says that about him.
They do.
Yeah, but
It's
here we
well
go.
known. It's practically a trope, that, isn't it?
Frank Skinner on the radio.
So I'll tell you what I did this week. I went to the BFI, the British
nice.
Film Institute, for they had a Doctor Who screening.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed it.
he's got the all clear. He's
I
fine.
wish you'd told me about that, Frank.
Yeah, I
you know
know.
I'd have loved to have gone to that.
I know, but anyway, it was what's happened. I mean,
When you say screening, haven't you seen enough of these things?
well,
Good point.
these weren't new ones.
They were new ones.
New ones from 1966.
Oh,
Sounds
new old ones.
Depressing. Smoker's complexion.
Are they called lost episodes or something like that?
Well, yeah, they're missing episodes, but they've got
nearly right.
they've got the audio
right.
from them. So what they've done is they've done animated versions using the original audio. It's a very clever idea.
Oh, I do like cartoons. Maybe I'll watch that.
It's basically
Is it
a
like
lot
The
of
Simpsons?
it's a lot of my parents' friends overacting.
Well, I think the acting in it was superb. But I had an idea. Now, tell me, have I completely made this up? I had an idea that in our early days on this show, someone took a bit of dialogue from us and did an animated version of it. Have I completely... Please tell me I've either imagined it or it's true. Hello? Hello?
Wait.
I wasn't here in the early days, so I joined.
Oh, pressure's on.
This is how it gets now when you get older. My
What
memory
was the
is a
dialogue?
mix
Can you
of
remember?
fiction. No, I've no idea what the dialogue was.
Well, then I can't help you.
But I've found this with my memory now is that, you get those dramas with a man and a woman in and they call them Will They, Won't They?
Yeah.
I can look back on female friends and now I'm having the did we, didn't we?
Well, allow me to clear up one for you.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I was fairly confident about that. You're more recent. I'm on about people. Some of them have passed away. And I don't want to phone up their family if there's any eyewitness reports. But I have a vague idea that we were animated. Do you remember when we used to be animated? Those are the days.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So I'll tell you one thing about this animating of the audio thing. Couldn't this be the rebirth for the phone hacking?
Yes.
Because you could hack people's phone conversations and then you could make an animation with that as the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
I'd watch that.
Would you?
Yeah. If it was Winslet based, I'd be in there.
The man's a monster.
So, I tell you, when it occurred to me that I said to someone I was going to the cinema, and that was one of the turning points in what I would call my southern sophistication when I moved down to
Going
London.
to the cinema, darling?
No, calling it that.
Oh, yeah.
When I lived
what did
in
you used to call
Birmingham,
it?
I'd say,
Pictures?
I'm going to the pictures.
Yeah.
And I remember when I not deliberately, but I naturally said to someone, I went to the cinema, I thought, oh, that's me. That's me,
you've
sophisticated. Yeah.
Mr. La-di-da.
It was that one, and we used to call homosexuals Moes, just as an abbreviation. And I did a gig at the Comedy Store, and I said, I've just been to a gay musical. It's called Five Moes Named Guy. And it got nothing. I mean, nothing. And then I realised that this abbreviation hadn't caught on in the South.
No.
So
Still not.
And never did.
Never did.
In fact,
Well,
which
it
I
wasn't-
for one am relieved of.
Well, it's not abusive. It's just shortening.
Okay.
I miss it. I'll be honest with you. But then again, I was talking to my producer.
My
this
name
week.
for them was Godfather.
Lovely. I was talking to my producer this week. I was talking to my producer.
Ironic
Which
call.
one? The radio show producer?
No, my television one.
Oh.
And
Listen to
did
you,
I-
my
did I
television one.
Did I tell you this? This is another one of my.
I think I met him briefly.
Did I tell you? I said to him I was going to the chiropodist,
Don't know.
Yeah.
and he said, "What's that?"
Did he? He did not say that.
And I said, "You know, the chiropodist."
Oh, he's an absolute fool.
And he said,
I'm s-
"I've never. What is it? What
he
happens
did
there?"
not say that.
What happens
And I
there?
thought, look, I know you get certain things where there's an age difference and stuff like that, but surely that is and I had to explain to him. I go there, and he goes, "Really, I might go to that. They're all over the place." I said, "Hold on a minute, don't make me the chiropody missionary. Everyone knows about it." And he said,
You're a
"No, honestly."
peddler.
He said, "I've never heard of
You
it."
can't not know. Frank, is he Captain Kirk? What is this water from your eyes?
Well, it's honestly, what could I say? I mean, there was other people in the room, and they were aghast. One was aghast. One worked there.
He is ridiculous.
Well, I wouldn't. He's a frightfully nice chap.
Well, I
He
feel
just-
terrible. Look, I don't know the man, whoever he is.
But what a gap to have in your life. I mean, okay, never to have been, or even to be quite unsure, but to never have heard of it.
Yeah.
I know I had this thing with Bodgerigard the other week. I thought it
People you
can't.
work with.
It can't get any worse than
What if he's
Bodgerigard.
listening to the show and I've called him ridiculous and he's probably a lovely man? I
He'll
do
be-
apologise. I just felt
It's all right.
shocked.
He's probably never heard the word ridiculous.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
Are you looking for some of that rapid voiceover work?
He likes it. Terms and conditions apply.
As an element of Orson Welles announcing that the Martians had
Yes.
landed.
I'll tell you what, that would be a slide, wouldn't it? With the pinnacles of your career, if you ended up doing the terms and conditions apply.
Oh, that's really
Someone
Oh.
said, "I'm sure that's Frank Skinner." I would absolutely. I'd be so ashamed.
Didn't he have his own show?
Yeah.
Well, there's bigger names than me doing voiceovers on these
Hey.
adverts.
We're not criticising people that do adverts. What we're
No, hold on,
saying.
I was waiting for you to pull me up on there's bigger names than me.
Oh, okay, sorry. How remiss of us. Now, Chris Martin told us last night at the gig that despite how weird I think he said this week had been, it was all going to be okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, I thought he was
I
referring to an incident at the Doctor Who screening. But it turns out he was
Was he
referring
on about
to...
the fact I sat next to Annika Wills? Because I was excited
you?
about it.
I don't know.
He was referring to the Donald, I think, wasn't he?
Yes.
He may have been.
Trumpelstiltskin, as I like to call
Oh,
him.
Nice.
lovely.
Yes.
It was a bit of a shocker.
It was, but all
Was it a
bets are
surprise?
off this year. I
Yeah.
think
Was it
I
a surprise?
predicted.
Was
Did
it
I
a surprise?
not
'Cause
predict?
I think I predicted it.
Did I
Alan
not
predicted-
predict last week that news that Bono's Woman of the Year would pale into...
You did.
And sure enough! Sure enough!
Who's this? I like him.
It was-
Alan, I should say, respect to Mondo. Possibly a year ago, Frank?
Possibly a
He
year
said
ago.
he's going to go all the way.
And you guys started calling me a Trump apologist, and I said I'm not an apologist. I'm just saying
we're
that I
not
think
saying-
he's persuading people, and
I still hold that view that you're a Trump apologist.
I'm not a Trump apologist, but I think he is persuading
Is that
people
some
that
sort
has
of
done.
brass musician? He's a very good Trump apologist. Have you heard this? Oh, man. He's Benny Goodman.
But I was, and isn't it nice that I didn't send a group text saying "I told you so" on the day?
You've got to stop going on about it now.
You've got to know how many times I deleted a group text saying "I told you so."
It is frustrating because you were there
400
first.
in one day.
I know.
It was interesting because it was partly sort of, oh my God, but partly hilarious. Because it just seems so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also, I grew up in the shadow of the bomb, so it don't scare me none. We were always talking about somebody pressing the button when I was a kid, because the Cold War
It
was
did
on.
feel like war had broken out. That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
I think, I think
Like you, I'm entitled to it, thank you.
already started to, he's calmed a bit, hasn't he?
He's backtracking, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
which-
Melania, let's call the whole thing. I better not say. But it's her I feel sorry for. She
Do
wanted
you?
some cars and a bit of makeup, and she's up to her neck in it now.
She's got a nice house out of it.
Yeah, but the amount of admin involved now.
I don't think she'll have to do the admin there.
Oh, she's got appointments.
You think she's going to have like a chart?
No, but they have to meet
Hoover,
people, don't
Oval
they?
Office.
Of course, she'll be Donald Trump's first lady. Oh, she's a way off that.
Oh, Hoover Oval Office. Can you imagine what that's going to look like? There'll be some nice old dictator's home chic coming in.
It's going to get pretty
with the
bling,
gold
isn't it, that
tables and the portraits.
Brilliant.
It was. I watched it. Did you watch his thank you speech? Because that was on. It was a good time for us. It was 2 a.m. for them, but it was on like in the morning here.
I think I heard
like
it on the
8
radio.
8 o'clock, yeah.
So I watched that. That was. I did enjoy that, I must admit. It was a bit like when they accidentally interviewed that cab driver on BBC News 24. He was sort of saying, yeah, thank you to Steve. Where is Steve? Steve here? He was unbelievable. And he should be... Where is Steve? Get Steve. You think, you're doing a speech. You're doing a speech. You're not at home.
Irritation that people weren't where they were meant to be.
But I suppose that's the idea of the refreshing. It's like us, the refreshing on professionalism.
Well, this is true.
You think?
Apparently,
I think so.
he
Not
was,
sure it's what you want in a world leader, but let's go with
he
it.
thought it was bad luck to prepare for the presidential transition. Hence, he hasn't appointed anyone or made any decisions.
Is that true?
Yes.
He thought it was bad luck?
He thought it would be bad luck and it would
That
jinx
is
I
it.
think he
brilliant.
didn't...
Jinx it.
And he's been proven right in
Yes.
a way.
Do you remember when we won Best Speech Programme?
You can't compare it to that. He's the president.
No, but we were told we had no chance. And I'm honest, it's the only time I've ever been to an award show not thinking I was going to win it. And it was, and the speech, I just made the speech up, so I didn't plan one. It was actually quite good.
Right?
I think if you're he should be able to do better than he did with that speech.
What did he say? Where's Steve? That's basically all he
He
said.
said that quite a lot. Where's Steve? And
Barron was up there. Barron, that's the child.
Young
Yes.
Baron.
Well, he's got a few. He's got Donald Jr., who's apparently
You're gonna
said
list
to be...
all, he's got 7, hasn't he?
I know them all. Eric. Apparently Donald Jr. Oh, no, Barron is very like... Melania says, Donald Jr. is very like Donald in temperament.
oh, really?
Yeah, he seems nice.
Yeah. I hope he's washed his hands. He's I felt a bit sorry for Barron because people were saying, "Oh, he looks bored," but it was 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
It's 10.
Yeah, he's allowed to yawn.
I kind of like the fact that Trump's an old dad. I knew me and him would find common ground
Yeah.
eventually. And she's 46, Melania, which is the same age as my partner. So we've got stuff in common, and we both have a special relationship with the Brits.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Surely not. There must be some mistake.
Do you think Donald's hair is soft or hard?
I fear it's hard. I want it to be soft.
Imagine it was baby soft.
I don't know. I think in order to keep it like that, you've really got to... It's got to be shellac.
It's like sponge
I think
sugar.
it's shellacked.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
No,
I think it's probably hard. I think it's like 3D printing or something. You know that? Have you ever touched 3D printing?
No, I never have.
Yeah.
I read a book, a sci-fi book that had 3D printing in it.
Oh, you must lend it to me.
And about a month later, I read in the paper that someone had come up with 3D printing. It was very strange.
Loads of stuff's been invented in sci-fi, hasn't it?
I know, but it's not normally that quick a turnover.
No, true enough.
Are we still talking about this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, why not?
No, I know, because sci-fi upsets me. Frank,
Have you read any sci-fi?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have an English degree, thank you very much.
Boom.
What sci-fi is on the English course?
Quite a lot, because we had to do a lot of H.G. Wells. Do you count him as sci-fi?
I should think so.
Thank you. What do you think of, where do you stand on Tiffany Trump?
Tiffany?
Well,
don't know much about
I
Tiffany.
like her, but to a lesser extent than I like the rest of the family.
This is, of course, what he said.
Oh, of course he did.
There's something, they say politicians aren't very honest. When he said, I'm proud of all my family, but to a lesser extent, Tiffany.
He said that this week, didn't he?
That's more honest than most parents are just at home.
Yeah, I've not read that in any parenting manual. That's how you should do it. It's public shaming.
I think, that's one of the first things. Dr. Benjamin Spock said, get your league table on the fridge and move it about based on behaviour and achievement.
She's part of the, I believe they're called the Snap Pack. You had the Rat Pack and the Brat Pack.
Oh.
She's the Snap Pack. And there's this group of individuals from very eminent families, her excluded.
And they
Matisse's...
they play international snap. That'd be great. Like, when you get poker on the telly. Like, stupid but attractive people play the snap. I'd watch that. I'd watch that.
So basically, with trilbies with their sponsor on it. No, Snap Pack.
Johnny Depp wins again.
Because of the Instagram, Frank. They're called Snap Pack, because they like taking pictures of each other.
What, not Snapchat?
It is partly. Maybe it is because of that. Anyway, it's her, Matisse's great-granddaughter, and Robert Kennedy's great-granddaughter.
Wow.
There you go. Granddaughter. So, they must be very proud.
Yeah. What a great legacy.
Yeah.
That you've
That's what Donald Trump said about his daughter.
Yeah, probably did, yeah. It reminded me of when I met a bloke, I can't remember where I was now, but it said to me, he's an Irish bloke, and he said, can I have a photo with you? My wife thinks you're very funny. And I said, okay. And then he says, I think you're quite funny. And I said, look, I don't need a breakdown of this, of statistics. Just funny. Funny would have done.
Yeah.
But he insisted on telling me that in his book, his wife had just overrated me a little bit. And this is that. I'm slightly less proud of Tiffany. Just say, they're all very nice and leave it at that.
Yeah.
But old Trumpelstiltskin, he's got to have the last word all the time.
I think he's quite cuddly.
Wrong.
Oh.
I would say.
My son said Donald Duck is the president. in a sort of a Donald Duck is the president kind of a real shot. He was... probably slightly less shocked than I was when I said Donald Trump is the president.
I'll tell you what's embarrassing. We were the 9th call he made.
I think 10th.
Oh, that is low.
That's all right, though, isn't it?
If you became president and I was the 9th, we've got a special relationship.
Yeah.
And I was the 9th person you called to tell, I'd be devastated.
No, that's fine, because the first 9 calls were just women he was telling to keep their mouths shut. I hope he wasn't saying that to Theresa May. Do you know Theresa May?
No, but thanks for the tip.
Good man.
Frank Skinner on the radio.
Yeah, we were talking about... I went when I woke up in the morning, I'd got a text from my girlfriend.
Strange blues song.
Yeah. To say, woke up this morning, got a text from my girlfriend. No kiss. And she was telling me that Trump had had won. He hadn't been officially announced, but she'd made her mind up. It's good enough for me. There was some swearing involved, but I won't read it all. So, but I didn't have that Brexit feeling of it's the end of the world. There was a mix of comedy in it. There is some profoundly comic about him as well, even if he takes us all into charcoal land. It does temper it a bit. But that night, I went to the Royal Opera House with Baroness Bakewell.
Of course.
And it did feel
I'm glad you kept it real.
It felt it was like the band playing on as the Titanic went down. I felt good about it.
Is anybody else a bit fed up of all the catastrophists? Donald Trump's got in, it's the end of the world.
The Trump apologists play...
Windurama.
Yeah. Windurama. I really liked Windurama.
Well, we should say, in case that was Boris Johnson coined that little phrase, didn't he?
Yeah.
I liked Windurama.
I'd much rather people waited until he's done something, like, really catastrophic before they said this is a catastrophe.
No, I don't agree with that.
Don't you? I think there should be some delay.
How bad do you want the catastrophe to be? You're such a Trump apologist.
I'm not. I could
Can
be
we
a
do
stoic.
a jingle?
Maybe I'm a stoic.
Frank, can we have a jingle for him, for Trump apologist?
That's him actually playing the Trump apology.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
I'm watching you.
Well, he might turn out to be brilliant.
Yeah.
But even if he's
brilliant.
Even if
How do you know?
Whatever happens, though...
Trump apologist jingle, please. He just said, how do you know? Please, can that count as one? He said, how do you know, quite aggressively.
Okay. This is what we should play. This is what you should play, Al, when Trump won.
I like
it. And he's got a red T-shirt today.
What does that mean?
Well, that's the colour, isn't it?
Oh, is
for
it?
the Republicans in America. They do it the other way around.
Of course.
Of
course. But it's such a switch. The fact that America decided they really like Barack Obama best of all, and now they really like Trump best of all. I think it's the biggest political turnaround since Lembit Opik dumped Sean Lloyd for Gabriella Cheeky.
That's a good point.
And you thought they're both on his radar, these two women. And that's what I think about this. It's like there are changes of mind, and there are changes of mind. We did really like Obama. Who else? Who should we try next? What about Donald Trump? Absolutely as different as is possible.
Donald would like a cheeky girl. He likes a cheeky girl.
He would like a cheeky girl.
Yeah, oh yeah, he does.
Touch my bum. This is life.
Okay. I told you not to read my text out on the show.
Frank Skinner on the radio.
Clive Silas has tweeted us to say Frank doesn't do T's and C's apply. But because we were talking earlier about how you might end up one day doing that. Well, he didn't say that, Al,
no,
but how
I said
did
it
we...
would be a fall from grace.
Yes, we said it would.
Current lofty position in show business.
Yes.
Clive says...
Playing Lofty in the stage play of the EastEnders.
It's a weird booking, isn't it?
Clive says, but he does do, and coming up on Sky Arts, a little bit of Beethoven. Do you do that?
Oh, I do.
Do you do the links? Do you sit in a little studio?
Well, I do links, sort of impromptu, unscripted links, where I just talk about stuff. But that's Sky Arts.
Right, exactly.
Right.
I mean, it's not We Buy Any Cars.
Okay, don't...
Not that that's a bad thing, can
No.
I say?
No, do what you want.
Yeah, because it's good if you're trying to sell your car that there's someone with that kind of broad-minded attitude.
Yeah, they'll buy any car.
Any car.
I'll tell you what it doesn't seem like. It doesn't seem 8 years since Barack Obama got in, and it is. Like, it's flown by, hasn't it, really?
Don't come crying to me.
Hey?
Don't come crying to me.
What are you talking about?
Well, time flies.
All right.
You get older.
I remembered when he got in, I used to have some jokes about...
You used to have some jokes.
He used to have some
Those
jokes.
were the days.
8 years back, just the last time I had a funny thought was about 8.5 years ago. I used to do some jokes about, because people were up in arms about his name, Barack Hussein Obama, you remember all that stuff. And
your friend Trump wanted him to produce his birth certificate.
He's a birther, my friend, isn't he?
Yeah, your friend.
And I read that an interesting thing about Barack Obama, I thought, that was in his late teens and 20s, he wasn't known as Barack Obama. He was known to friends and family as Barry. So I used to have some jokes about... never mind...
Was that right?
Yeah. So I used to have these jokes about he's given hope to Barrys the world over. He's the leader of... But now they've gone from Barry to Donald. What is happening with that country?
Do you think that name will be popular again?
Dorky names.
I would guess that they were docky names. I would guess that was someone Irish, Barry Obama.
Yes, you would.
Hey, what if Donald starts popularising the Donald jacket, the Bolero jacket, with no trousers underneath?
No, he wouldn't dare. Just the naval top and no trousers. Oh, no. Oh, it wouldn't be the first time, probably.
Yeah, you'd think.
Now, I'll tell you who's very excited about this, not just our very own
Alan
Trump
Cockerel.
apologist, Nigel Farage is so happy about this. Because he had done some good little groundwork sweeping up.
He did.
And I think Frank on this very show referred to him as a minion, which I like.
Yeah, because his job now is to support terrible people around the world, like the Minions. If you've never seen the Minions, that's what they do.
He said he's already...
I hope he's going to wear a sort of monocular goggle next time we see him. It would suit him down to the ground.
A little dungarees, Frank.
Oh, just one picture of him like that would be brilliant.
He's got to do it. But
someone will be working that up for us now on Photoshop, I'm sure.
Well, Al, he's already got very excited. He rung into James Whale. I don't know if he used the free number or not, but they had a long...
James Whale. If ever there was they get on like a cross on fire.
Well, James Whale said, yeah, well, the PC lot, I hope you're listening now.
Did he?
Oh, big hand for the police.
And Nigel said, he said, I didn't go to the Mississippi rally to endorse Donald Trump.
I didn't, to be fair.
He said, after I did my bit, which is what he's calling it, he said to me, you'll be my friend for life. Well, I tell you what, that's not bad.
That's not bad.
Well... Let's have a multiple choice. That's not A, bad, B, good. C, happening.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Nigel Farage will be hanging on the telephone about, I'd say, 2 weeks' time. He doesn't call. He doesn't text.
He's getting so excited. That's my worry, is that the Donald won't come good, and he might forsake Nigel.
Yeah.
So often on the way up, these people are all over you, and then...
I think that's a possibility, yes.
Well, what if Nigel got American citizenship, and then he could be the next leader, because he's called Nigel, so that sticks with Barry, Donald, Nigel...
all the terrible names.
Yeah, yes.
He could start his own mail delivery company called Wells Farage.
Very good. This is the problem. We didn't suck up to the Donald enough.
I would have, as we know.
Well, we know you would have. We needed you. Where were you when we needed you?
But if
we put all our money on,
but now
the government.
But now that we've had the Brexit shot result, and the Donald Trump shot result, and Bono,
told you so.
Yeah.
Bono, Woman of the Year.
Woman of the Year.
Thinking of putting a few bob on Ed Balls for Strictly.
Yeah,
I think that's the one. Definitely.
I think actually those things you've listed, I think we might now all be totally unshockable. I think there's no just surprise
I'm
left.
putting money on Vince Cable win X Factor.
Is he on it?
Oh, he will be soon.
No, you've gone too far.
He's written a romantic novel.
No, but that idea of this theory that the people are sort of, it's like a brick through a shop window type of voting, break down the system. Ed Balls winning Strictly would turn the whole programme upside down. What with Aaron Goodman going, he'd be smoking rubble.
It's the end of days.
It is.
All the people have spoken now. Jane from Nottingham has got in touch with us.
Oh, yeah?
Saying, morning, you're keeping me amused, sorry, phrase redacted, whilst cleaning the whole house as meeting my son's girlfriend for the first time, trying to con her that we don't live like pigs.
Yeah, I thought that it's the girlfriend who's supposed to be nervous.
I like that the parents are nervous. That's rather sweet.
Nice.
Everything, the world's upside down.
That's changed, hasn't it?
Yeah, but that's lovely. But she'll smell that jiff.
Yeah, she will.
When she comes.
Sif,
is it?
Oh, old
Sif
school.
now.
Whatever happened to...
Isn't it?
It's called SIF. The people have spoken. It's called SIF now.
SIF, it's called.
Yes.
I don't like the fact that it's called SIF.
Well, it's been like that for a long time.
Is it?
About 88.
Let's name it after a venereal disease.
No,
not.
CIF, not SY.
I know, but once it's said, once
Can you
it's out
stop
there.
talking like
Stop
this?
spelling.
You two.
What do you mean talking like
Well,
this?
stop spelling, yes.
Anyway, look, I think democracy's been an interesting experiment. But,
Back over again.
yeah, it has. It hasn't really worked.
I like the opportunist scamp in Sweden who put himself up for marriage on eBay for $50,000 to any American women or men that wanted to leave the country and live in Sweden.
That's a good idea, isn't
Cool,
it?
isn't it? And he was a handsome chap as well. You'd think
I'm thinking.
Winters are very cruel in Sweden.
Yes.
but if you want to leave America, you might forsake the sunshine for a
It's
while.
expensive as well, Sweden.
The daylight. I mean, the lack of daylight, it gets you very down.
All right.
Anyway, here's White
Let's have a
Snake.
rethink.
Yeah, as Donald Trump would say.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I think couldn't we have a system running the country where where you just get some, bright people who know a lot about politics and just leave them to it and stop the voting thing.
What do you mean?
Then no one's going to upset the apple. What I'm talking about is, could we run the country with a system not dissimilar to the Pools panel?
Oh, I see. Or,
Where you just get
Miss
some,
World.
you get some experts.
Eric Morley, perhaps.
Yeah, but
and
the trouble
John
is,
Terry.
the people on Miss World, the voting thing, you never know who they are. There's some really old
John Terry's
Chinese
done
woman
it.
and who worked in fashion and stuff.
I think John Terry did it.
Did
yeah.
he?
Yeah.
There's often somebody. There's someone like Peter Gordino. I'm going back a bit. Google him. Could he dance?
We've had an email, Frank, that is,
yeah.
I'm afraid to tell you, it's calling you out. You're
Okay.
getting caught.
It's not from that bloke I met in
I think it's actually calling you out.
It was-
Fire
You remember that?
in Vauxhall.
You know that thing that you do where you go, American references, American box
box
sets,
sets, yeah.
American
Do I go,
comedians.
"Ooh"?
You do.
Do
I'm
I?
afraid
do?
to say
I
that
think you're
is
right. I think I
almost
do.
exactly your tone.
Okay.
Anyway, we've had an email that says, "Good morning, Tokyo. Happy to be seeing you. I recently picked up Frank's book, Frank Skinner on the Road, and after listening back to past episodes of the show on podcast, I was shocked to get no further than page 6, in capital letters, before Frank is quoting none other than Jerry Seinfeld.
No.
Frank then goes on to mention that he sits down to watch the documentary film about Seinfeld, and he again refers to him in 21 parts of his book, I think it says.
Oh, my.
Yes, but
Oh, no.
Would
Let's
Frank care
cue
to
the
explain
music.
himself?
I
Cue
can
the music.
explain, because it's not like those terrible people who say it's like that episode of Seinfeld when this
Yeah.
is a documentary and it's Seinfeld talking about comedy, and it's when he returns to life comedy and I'm returning. It's not like and then
The
Kramer
legs
and then
kicking under the water, can't you?
and then Kramer said, "Oh, did he?" It's
You know
not
what
like
this
that.
reminds me of? That episode of The Simpsons when
Oh, yeah,
Bart
I think
finds
it's
out
a-
he's been rumbled.
No, it's a bit like that episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm when Harry died, and then that guy. All right, I say all right.
Yeah, all right.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Surely not. There must be some mistake.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cockerel. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
I love the fact that you think wondering what happened to stuff is your idea and yours alone.
Well, I was
Working in the lab late one night.
when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. My monster from its slab began to... I think we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
So, it's that time of the year, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm
Soon.
talking about?
Yes.
Christmas.
Nearly.
Yeah.
I've seen...
Not long now.
I've seen some decorations in
Well.
local shops.
And how do we know it's Christmas?
Because the John Lewis advert has come out.
Exactamundo. That's my one. Exactamundo.
yeah.
What do we think?
Frank's got Respectamundo. You find your Mondo.
What do we think?
I think, well, they have said things they felt had got a bit bleak in the last few years. They weren't criticising their past material, but they'd had the old elderly man on the moon,
Yes.
hadn't they? Who seemed a bit lonely.
Left alone on the moon.
Yes. They had another
It's
one.
a bit sad.
Yeah, they had animals going on a road trip, and then snowmen going on a road trip in a mournful way. And this year, you know what John Lewis have done? They've got a bit of material. They've gone
Yes.
down the comedy
Yeah.
route.
Yeah.
Just in case you haven't seen it yet, let me give you a brief synopsis. Parents buy their child a trampoline for Christmas and erect it in the garden Christmas Eve night. They go to bed. The boxer dog sleeping in the kitchen looks through the window, sees two foxes approach. They
Yeah.
start bouncing. Yes! Bouncing on the trampoline.
Foxes.
They're joined by a badger, then joins them. I think
A badger
squirrel.
is- badger-
A vole. I think there's a vole.
Yeah.
There's no
A
vole.
weasel.
Elephant.
No, there's no vole.
There's an elephant who
No,
breaks it.
no,
and
Can I
ruins
give you the
everything.
breakdown of the animals?
Vole?
No.
Consonant?
No, forget the vole. Forget the
Two
vole.
from the top line, please.
Forget the goddamn
Rachel.
vole. 2 fox,
Yeah,
1 badger,
yeah.
1 hedgehog.
See, you don't want a hedgehog, do you?
No.
You don't want a hedgehog on a trampoline. That's an accident waiting to happen.
It's a health and safety
One
advert waiting to happen.
Squirrel.
One squirrel.
Yeah, one
Just the
squirrel.
one.
2 squirrels.
Right.
No, there's 1 squirrel.
Anyway,
It's not the ark.
You know what there
2
is?
squirrels.
There's 2 foxes.
2 of everything.
2 fox.
So yes, that they burn something down. The boxer dog looks frustrated.
Leaving all sorts of
that he
excrement.
can't join in. Yeah, and then the next morning, parents open French windows, say to child, "There's your present." She races towards it. The dog, the boxer dog, overtakes her, and he jumps up and down on the thing.
Thanks for your pitch, Mr. Skinner. We're not going to make this film, though.
Now, if someone had come to me with that pitch, I'd have said, "Well, it's a very Cloud Cuckoo Land version of the natural world. I mean, the foxes would have torn those squirrels to shreds.
Can you imagine? They would have.
Child would have gone out the next morning, there'd just been blood and fur on the trampoline. Eh? Welcome.
Can you imagine the excrement?
Oh, everywhere.
Every day as well on that trampoline.
Actually, I think Father Christmas gets the child like one of those squirty cleaners and a J-cloth, so that's covered. That's dealt
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
Also available
also,
from
can I
John
say,
Lewis,
I have
so.
set up one of those trampolines.
with. Yes, I think you told us
Have you?
about
Is
it.
that the one you
hard.
did with Adrian Childs?
No, that was the swing. Me and Kath
Oh,
did
how
the
silly of me to
trampoline.
forget.
Yeah, the trampoline. It's really hard work to get the tension right. You've got to.
He did
I
look-
just can't get it. It's
He
like
did
that.
look a bit grumped off, didn't he, the dad, in the advert?
Yeah, but when the foxes get on it, they're making quite an indentation. Now,
Right.
if the tension was right, they'd barely affect the surface.
Oh,
a
just
lightweight
like-
thing like a fox.
The thing that happens, the denouement is, as denouement go, not that staggering, but what happens is the dog is upset, as you correctly suggest, and so he charges out the next morning and gets on the trampoline before the child, and the family look at each other and they're really angry and upset. And I think that's a bit mean. I mean, let the dog play on the trampoline. Let the dog see the trampoline.
Yeah, but you know, it's her present.
Come on.
It's her
it's-
present. Let her have the
Yeah.
first go on it. They don't know that, you know.
He's a dog. He doesn't know that.
They don't know that post he used to have at school, the wildlife of Great Britain, has come to life and gone on the trampoline
been
the
on
night
there.
before.
God forbid she gets talked to share, for heaven's sake.
I know, but let her go first.
That's right.
Boxer dog. Can you imagine the big trails of saliva coming off its black jaws?
I did think that, you know, the saliva on the
no,
track.
then she walks on, just ends up flat on her back, stepping on a terrible silver trail of phlegm.
I mean, that would have been a nice slow-mo
Merry
bit
Christmas.
for the filmmakers, like a really slow-mo shot.
Oh,
just
yeah.
the
of it
saliva
just-
coming out.
Oh, yeah. And then landing on her
arcing.
face. If it lands on the child's face and she faints. Yeah, they haven't. Maybe it's in the director's cut. I don't know.
Well, 7 million it cost. I mean, what are you spending on? An old dog handler?
I don't know.
Child actor, they're cheap, I should know. and a couple of parents, a few old animals.
There's an old dog handler lived by me. He was caught in the end.
Frank Skinner on the radio.
106 has got in touch to say, I've just watched the John Lewis ad and I think the badger's claws would have gone through the base of the tramp.
I think that, you have to take your shoes off to go on the trampoline. I mean, even if you got trainers on. So how are they to let wildlife on there?
Yeah, it seems unfair.
Well, what about the hedgehog? Don't get me started on him.
I mean, what if he does that thing when you jump and then, you sort of land on your bum and then jump back onto your feet? The hedgehog's never going to do that.
Yeah.
He's just going to land.
Stay.
Yeah. And then the fox will eat his interior cavity out. And he's trapped.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like eating a coconut.
Yeah.
Yucky. Anyway, I hate it.
You don't like it?
No, I don't
You're
like
not
it
a fan?
at all. I think it's their worst ever.
Do you?
Do you agree with the idea that they shouldn't have done a sad one this year? Because I found that a little bit patronising. When they were saying,
we've had a bad year.
2016's been a bad year. But it's been a good year for me. I've really enjoyed my year and I was looking forward to some John Lewis advert catharsis.
I've actually had a good 2016.
I can honestly say I've never looked forward to the John Lewis advert in any aspect.
No.
And I don't think, OK, there's Brexit, there's Trump, there's that phone call from that barmaid in Wigan. But everything will be fine as long as they're happy. As long as the John Lewis advert's a bit up tempo this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the fact that there's a big fuss made about waiting for the advert. Can I let you into a little secret?
Go on.
Have
you seen the Marks and Spencer's advert?
No.
At Christmas. It's better.
What?
Is it? What happens in that one? Well, I tell you who's in that. Isn't Gandhi in that? He was normally in them.
Gandhi?
No, he's not in that.
No, David, not Mahatma.
No, not Mahatma. He doesn't do the Christmas. He doesn't do Christmas.
Oh, he feels the cold.
Rules.
Not on his diet. He likes an easy peeler.
Wow.
No, he went out with that policewoman.
Oh, God.
God, there's old references.
I mean,
there's
that
old
is
references.
so old.
People don't call the police peelers anymore.
I don't think they do.
What's that? Wilton,
what do they call them now? The Rozzers.
Yes.
That's Wilton's music hall.
Whatever
reference.
happened to?
Okay.
I'm told that in the John Lewis, from people I know, people who worked on the
I'm told.
advert,
This is what Cass said.
that the way they got it to work is they, instead of a trampoline, they had a big hot plate. And the animals just jump up and down to avoid blistering.
Oh, yeah.
So they gave them 20 minutes on there, and they couldn't stand the smell of it, of the burning pads. And then
That badger was all... I've never seen him in such a state.
yeah, and then they got him off, and it was straight to Archipelago Restaurant, where they became a series of courses at a corporate dinner.
Oh, don't say that.
For
Frank, we're going to get complaints. The
We will get
minions.
complaints. We're definitely
Well,
going to
we
get
get
complaints.
complaints. It's not true. And also, it's, nature red in tooth and claw. Like I said, the fox would have finished off half of them.
True enough.
Yeah.
Fox versus badger, I wouldn't mind seeing that.
That's probably on YouTube.
That would be good, though, wouldn't it?
My money's on squirrel.
You reckon?
Yeah.
I'm back in... I'd have a problem if it was grey squirrel versus red squirrel.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Because I personally would identify, obviously, with the grey.
Yeah.
Right.
But my son's ginger.
He's the red squirrel.
Oh, yeah.
My son's ginger, that's why I favour the fox.
Yeah. Well, how do you think I feel about the fox?
Well,
I mean,
I
you
know.
know my
You
love of
love the
them.
fox.
Oh, yeah,
My
but that fox is spoken for.
obscure crush,
But that
Foxy Bingo.
That
Come on.
fox has done that thing. I hate it. You know when you get a bit of a get
Frank,
together.
you're calling him that fox like he's your old neighbour you don't get on with.
You know when you have a get together with mates and you say we'll meet to like a bit of a reunion, and then one of them brings their partner, and you think, oh, that's sort of spot the whole evening. That's what the fox has turned up with his girlfriend. And we don't know her, and I'm sure she's lovely, but, we can't talk about the old times with the hedgehog and the
No wonder the badger's
vole.
getting so aerated.
Yeah. The ferret didn't even... He saw it from a distance and just went off. Didn't even get on the...
Do you think Frank the Fox said, "You'll really get on"? What about when they do that, when they bring someone along?
I think the fox probably said, "It's all right if I bring..." And they went, yeah. And then they found, like the badger found the squirrel and say, "Oh, he's bringing his girlfriend, what an idiot." Should we invite the box? No. I don't like... I don't... God, I don't want the saliva thing.
Frank Skinner on the radio.
We sprechen about the John Lewis advert with the bouncing dog, who is he's called Buster the boxer. Mm-hmm. He's played by Biff the boxer.
That's great knowledge, Frank.
Why bother changing the name?
That's the sort of thing...
That's a good point, yeah.
You could do that as a mastermind specialist subject now. They allowed Miley in class to do Sex and the City Series 3.
They did.
You could do the John Lewis ad, 2016.
But he's got Biff. Just call him Biff if he's called Biff.
Are you bothered about the dog actor having an actor's
it's like
name and a character name?
I used to think, when I used to watch Hawaii Five-0 as a kid, and there's a big Hawaiian guy, and he used to have his credit as Zulu, as Kono, and I used to think, why bother changing that? But to be fair, I'm guessing that Hawaiians watched it and thought, Jack Lord as Steve McGarrett, why bother?
Yeah, well, quite. Thank you for that redress. Well, he could have... Are you suggesting he did what I call an AAH?
What was that?
And as himself.
Oh.
Biff the dog.
Nice.
I just think with the dog, the name doesn't feature or anything in the advert. He's called Buster because they're going to bring out a cuddly toy of him to sell.
Are they?
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Well, they did that with the penguin, Al. Don't you remember?
I do.
A few years back.
I do. I'm a very keen diarist, and I always look at my diary for around the John Lewis Christmas ad
I've got
time.
John Lewis ad alerts.
It says that most unsettling of phrases, that some of the proceeds will go to charity.
We know what that means.
That's when I want to break down of what some means. But yes, but I'd have been happy with and his owner, who's obviously thrilled, posted a picture of him lying on his back.
Oh?
Disgusting.
Why is it disgusting?
Oh, it's absolutely. Do you want to see that?
What is it? What, the dog's belly?
Well,
I think it was a bit more than belly.
It's not
from
the
sounds
belly
of it.
I'm worried
Oh, he
about.
didn't post all of it.
He lay
Was
on
he in his all together, the dog?
Well, it's a boxer.
No, he was wearing his pyjamas. What do you think?
But when I buy my dog, I'm going to make them clothed.
Oh, yeah.
If they're going to lie on their... I mean, a boxer...
I don't want people seeing them in the all
there's
together.
no foliage on a boxer, like... There's,
right.
With a long-haired dog, you can arrange it a bit
Why
for the
don't dogs
photo.
wear pants?
I
8,
think
12,
they should.
15. Why do
I think
dogs
they
wear
should.
pants?
It's a good question.
It's obscene.
I've always been keen on reading out readers' comments.
Oh, yeah.
From things like Mail Online, but I did see one about this advert from a person ironically called Sunshine Fan.
Oh, yeah.
And Sunshine Fan...
I'm Hale Fan.
I don't know whether this is a man or a woman. We can make our own guesses. And this is the comment. How many dogs are going to be injured by people copying this advert? So that's this morning's texting. I'm guessing 2. But I'd be interested to hear your figures.
Yeah.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Ian Angel.
Oh, yeah. The
Potato
Ponster extraordinaire.
Often punster. He's texted in he should have worn boxer shorts. Meaning the boxer dog.
There you go, you see.
Very good.
Spot on.
And a lot of texts we're getting in from Nugget included, making reference to this suggestion that the John Lewis ad is in some way an analogy for the American election result, with Buster being the Trump figure, coming in at the last minute and surprising everyone, leaving everyone shocked and stunned.
If that's the case, hats off to the John Lewis CGI people who knocked that together in about 3 hours by my reckoning.
You'd never know it to look at it.
That does explain that picture of Donald Trump that appeared on Twitter this morning of him lying on his back with his... Well, as I said, the Marks and Spencer ad
Oh, yeah, what's that?
Because I haven't seen that one.
What it is,
Talk us through it.
it's Father Christmas and Mrs. Christmas. Mrs. Christmas so often is a sort of secondary figure in these things.
Are these actors
Like
then?
a sort of a her indoors figure.
Yeah, I think these are people playing the.
Okay.
I mean, the real one doesn't even feature in John Lewis at all. Doesn't
No.
suggest. I mean, the parents seem to be getting the toys and putting them up.
Well, if there's any parents that causes a difficult chat for,
Yes.
I've thought of a solve for that, which is that Santa, Father Christmas, lost his temper and went to the pub, and the dad finished the assembly of the trampoline. That's how that panned
Well, that's
out.
parents' toys, though, because parents leave toys and Santa leaves toys.
Yeah.
But John Lewis have obviously found Santa, the real Santa,
Yeah.
because it's like such a big. They can't get an actor to do it. They have
Yeah.
to get the real one. And he said, this time of the year, no can do.
I'm busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible
So they've got
time.
actors in.
So they haven't featured him. He's been written out.
Yeah.
He's too big for that gig.
But anyway, in the Marks and Spencer one, Father Christmas goes off in the sleigh, and the wife, who I have to say, is very attractive, Mrs. Claus. It's not. I think it's the first time I've ever looked at Father Christmas and said, "He done well." She finds one missing letter of this. I won't tell you the whole thing, but this child asks a request, and she goes off and sorts it out like a dynamic, strong woman
Good.
in the Marks and Spencers.
Excellent.
Yeah.
This sounds much better.
It's great. And
Okay.
she's hot, Mrs. Christmas.
Do you know what?
Has your demographic changed a little bit?
I never thought I'd do this, Frank, but I'm going to Google her, Mrs. Christmas.
Yeah, I think you should do. He looks way too old for her. Father
Does he?
Christmas. Yeah.
That's what I was asking, really. Has he gone for a younger...
Okay, I'm Googling.
I wouldn't want to be there when all my Christmases came at once. But it's. I would recommend the Marks and Spencers. It's splendid.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Oh, I'll tell you what happened. I don't know if you know, Al, but Emily Dean came round to my house on Sunday to watch the football.
Oh, I did.
Did
He laid on a lovely cheese-based spread.
We had some Apoisé de Bourgogne,
What's
I
that?
believe.
Oh, you did.
It's like French soft cheese.
You did. That's why I was worried I got there too early.
Oh, it stinks.
It
Lovely,
stunk
though.
so badly that Buzz almost cried, I think.
Yeah, well, I
love
said
the
to
French
Buzz,
cheese.
smell that.
Soft.
He was really disgusting.
I tell you
He
what
also-
did make Buzz cry. Frank and Adrian Charles, who was there, they got so excited. West Brom versus Leicester, wasn't it, Frank?
It was.
And they got so excited. Do the noise you made when they scored.
Well, you know, the noise you
Yeah.
do when they score.
Yeah.
Yeah! And he
cried.
he told us off.
Oh, did
He
he?
was really upset.
But then again, I must say,
Sensitive.
me cheering West Brom goals is not going to be a recurring.
He's not going to need earplugs for that.
No, I think
In his life.
it's not going to happen that often. But bear in mind, my partner told me off at the circus for clapping too loudly, and now my son, my 4-year-old, is oppressed.
Oppressed.
Yeah, oppressed.
But it was. I'll tell you what was lovely is we were West Brom won, so me and Adrian were very pleased, and Emily very fabulously said, "I'm so happy for you guys." like we'd entered into a civil partnership.
It is nice.
Well, I did compare them to Statler and Waldorf on the Muppets.
Indeed.
Because they do this thing, the two of them, during the injury time. They wind themselves up. I mean, it's quite weird watching it. They get so upset, and they say, it's never going to happen, we're not going to do it, we always do this. And I said to Frank, you're like Statler and Waldorf. Frank said, yeah, that's the second time someone said that to us this week.
Just the second.
Second in a week.
We were at the last match we were at, a bloke said, you two are a bit like Statler and Waldorf, aren't you?
Well,
Statler and Waldorf were two characters in The Muppets.
yeah.
That's the footnote. out the way.
Google.
So how am I going to show appreciation now in my house if I can't clap or cheer?
Mime. Oh, I tell you what,
Yeah.
the double thumbs up. You're a big fan of the double
You know what? I
thumbs
got a
up.
thumbs up emoji from Charlie the producer this week.
Did you?
Nice.
I mean, come on.
What's up with that?
It's a bit lowbrow. The thumbs up. I mean, Paul McCartney can get away with it. You know what Paparazzi once said to me? Don't do a thumbs up. Yeah, we never show a thumbs up picture unless it's Paul McCartney.
Is that a rule?
Yeah, it's a helpful note.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Surely not. There must be some mistake.
What about if I dusted off my Bravo?
Bravo.
Yeah, that might get away
Probably
with
all
it.
want a bit pink beret.
Yeah.
Celebration. What about just an Alan Shearer raised hand and run around the living room?
No, that could be misinterpreted.
I suppose so, yeah.
For a football match, I could do a sports Bravo.
Oh, very good.
Shall I just say loudly, I'm so happy for you.
It was lovely, though. It was a lovely communal thing, and we won. And you know, when you win on the international break, you got 2 weeks to save for it.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I googled sofas with Kath in the break.
You did.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
a nice
googled the
thing to do.
sofas.
It was.
She
It
said,
was-
she said, Frank wants a Chesterfield and there's nothing I can do about it.
Oh, it's
But
easy
who-
to slide off leather sofas.
Who
This is what I
says
said.
that sexual stereotyping has completely broken down? Me and Adrian watched the football, and Kath and Emily googled sofas.
Much though I enjoyed the highlights of that game, I think I
Yes.
might have been over in sofa corner as well.
No, do you know what? They were very decent.
Very decent.
Yeah.
I'm very pleased for them.
How many people have watched West Brom beat Leicester whilst eating a poursuisse de bourgeon?
You guys.
It showed me how far you and Aid have come.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, here on Absolute Radio.
Even for the brief moment when I did feel I was in a pub in Smethwick when you scored.
Well, it's
And I
the
like
part
that.
of me that is always in a pub in Smethwick.
Well,
And
I'm there
always
with
will
you.
be.
It's my spiritual home.
Lovely. You know what? Up next is rock and roll football with OJ Borge, who still hasn't texted the Cockerel.
I thought you were going to have a grapple match. He said, I'll call you. And guess what? How many has he called you?
There,
Oh, always the bridesmaid.
I think
This is
we're going to have...
embarrassing,
If you've
Frank.
ever seen Women in Love, when Oliver Reed and Alan Bates wrestle naked in front of a roaring log fire, that's what we're hoping for with OJ and the Cockerel.
Front row seats.
I cannot
Sorry it didn't
wait.
happen.
Exactly. Exactly. But don't lie on your backs like that dog. So look, if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Thank you for listening, and now get out.
Hear the Frank Skinner Show as it happens. Saturday morning from 8 until 11 on 105.8 FM in London and the South East.